Alright, here's all that stuff I found. Just a bunch of junk, but a few neat things. Probably the neatest thing to me is this. This is tungsten. I don't know exactly what it's for. You can see the crystalline structure. It's very heavy. It's definitely not iron or steel. I mean, I have to weigh it, but it feels like it nearly weighs as much as this bolt does. You know, this big bolt, pencil sharpener. Just a bunch of bullets. Nothing too interesting. Sometimes I'll find some weird bullets from the past. Just a bunch of kind of normal shells. A bunch of 10mm. A bunch of these are impact. 3D impact, I think they say on the base of them. These are interesting. These are Pakistani Ordnance Force or Pakistani Ordnance Factory, POF. Then I'll pick it up. Yeah, some big bolt. Modern coins, too bad nothing silver. These were kind of interesting. There's one of those 3D impact. It's a 45. This one's neat though. Never seen this headstand before. It's Israeli. TZZ 84. Then we've got two Chinese, Norenko. They're CJ, and then they have a number. One says 6, one says 92. They have a PMP. Get the darn thing to focus right. South African. And a Portuguese, FNM. And a little smorgasbord of surplus from the 90s, even the 80s. There's a loaded 22s, a loaded 25, a loaded 10mm, and a loaded 30-30 I showed on the video. Not too much old stuff. You know, this wasn't like an old homestead site. Just a dumping, shooting site from the probably 70s onward. Maybe a little bit before. A bunch of these 30-06 blanks, they're off in the 50s. That one's fired out of like a HK or a set me. You can see the fluting lines on it. What is it? It's just a NATO round. I'm blanking on that headstand. Was that Canadian? IVI? I don't remember. Now this one's weird. It just says 7.62mm. There's no other headstand. And over here, where my thumb is at, you can see where the extractor really pulled that rim up. This thing was extracted under high pressure. And when it was ejected, it hit the side of the gun. It's a pretty sharp line. I mean, maybe that's like the top cover, like an AK or something. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Was it just thrown out of like an M14 or something? I mean, they had the finish, and they had the Galil AKs and 308 back then. And here's that Folsom Point I found there. It's a Folsom preform. It's a Folsom projectile point from 12,500 years ago that's not completely finished. It's very thin. It's fluted on both sides. This is most of the way through production. They would have kept it round, not pointy, so that they could flute it. Got part of the ears on it. They would have finished it up. Got some nice flaking on part of it. I mean, they're part way through making this. Maybe they quit. For some reason, maybe they started using it as a scraper. Not really sure, because they don't have the real fine edge flakes on it. And that side isn't finished at all. Over here. You can see where some of the surface stars have been taken off. Here's what a more finished Folsom Point. This is a little tiny one, but would look like with the flutes. And from that area that got cleared, or is going to be cleared off and houses are going to be built there. Right where the houses are already built, I found this one. It says a Bahada Point. This comes from after these Folsom Points. So this would have been at the end of the Ice Age. There still would have been mega beasts around, megafauna. And this came right at the end of that when things started drying out and changing. These Folsom and the Clovis people were gone. Some of the later Paleo people were gone. Right at the beginning of the early Archaic. I was in a little arroyo on one of those mesquite dune ridges. And this one was also from where some roads and houses have been built. This wasn't by a campsite. This was just out by itself, mixing in with that white caliche rock. Maybe somebody had passed over it before, blended in really nice, but it's a really nice point. Right? Probably from the way later times, but I don't know. Late Archaic, early formative period. I don't know if it's a dart point or an arrow point. Really nicely made. Would have been bulldozed over in somebody's yard or gotten smashed by the tractor if I didn't find it. But I'll go back there and look some more before they blade the rest of it off. Hopefully I can find some more bullets. I'm kind of low on lead. It's nice to... It's a real pain to pick up bullets, even where people shoot a lot. Just fun for a while, but it gets boring. I'd much rather just find junk like this.